What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to RNG Small Ball. I'm your host, and today we are getting into the full playoff picture. Both conferences, the likely matchups, who I think goes deep and who I think gets bounced early. We've got about 2 weeks left in the regular season. The play-in is right around the corner, and things are getting interesting. Let's get into it. Before we go team by team, let me give you the lay of the land as of today, March 29th. In the West, Oklahoma City is sitting at 58-16, the best record in the league. San Antonio is right behind them at 56-18. These two teams have been trading blows all season for the 1 seed, and it's genuinely going down to the wire. In the East, Detroit has been the story of the year at 54-20, with Boston right behind them at 49-24. The Knicks are third at 48-26. The play-in picture on the East side currently has Philly, Orlando, Miami, and Charlotte all fighting for spots 7 through 10. In the West, it's the Suns and the Clippers, sitting at 7 and 8, with Portland and Golden State hovering around the 9 and 10 spots. Alright, with that said, let's talk about each of the likely first-round matchups. Detroit has been the best team in the East all season. They play suffocating defense, they have depth up and down the roster, and Cade Cunningham has had a genuinely special year. He's averaging 24.5 points and 9.9 assists per game, numbers that only 8 players in league history have ever put up in the same season. That's elite company. The issue, and it's a significant one, is that Cunningham suffered a collapsed left lung about 10 days ago and has been ruled out at minimum 2 weeks. The team is optimistic he'll return for the start of the playoffs on April 18th, but that's not guaranteed. If Cade is healthy, the Pistons are legitimately one of my 2 or 3 picks to come out of the East. If he's limited or rusty, that changes things fast. Detroit has won with him off the floor. Dennis Jenkins, Tobias Harris, Ausar Thompson, and Duncan Robinson have held it together. But you don't want to go into the playoffs without your franchise player at full strength. The seeding also matters here. At the 1 seed, Detroit would face whoever comes out of the play-in as in the 8th. That's a favorable matchup on paper, but everything hinges on Cunningham's health. Keep an eye on any updates in the next 2 weeks. Boston is the 2 seed, and they are exactly who you think they are. Consistent, well-coached, disciplined on both ends, they've been here before. The Celtics are the kind of team that doesn't beat themselves in a series. They force opponents to beat them, and most teams can't do it. Their matchup in the first round is projected right now would be the winner of the 7-8 play-in game, likely either Philly or Orlando. Boston is my pick to reach the Eastern Conference Finals at minimum. I'm not buying a first-round exit from this team. Whether they can get past Detroit or New York in a potential conference semifinals or finals matchup is a tougher question. Those are both physical teams, but the Celtics have the experience and the coaching to be a problem for anyone. The Knicks are 48-26, good for the 3 seed. The projected first-round matchup has them against Atlanta, the 6 seed, at 42-33. New York gets the edge in this one pretty comfortably. The Knicks are deep, they defend well, and they know how to close out series. Atlanta is a good team. Jalen Johnson can go off on any given night and create real problems, but I don't think the Hawks have enough defensive consistency to hang with New York for 6 or 7 games. Knicks in 5. This is genuinely one of the more interesting first-round matchups in the East. Cleveland has had a good year. They're physical, they have multiple wings who can guard, and they grind out low-scoring games. Toronto has been a pleasant surprise this season. They're well-coached, they move the ball, and they don't have a weakness that you can easily exploit. That said, Cleveland has the edge in terms of talent and home court. I'll take the Cavs in 6, but I wouldn't be shocked if Toronto pushes it to 7. This is the series I'd want to watch most in the first round on the East side. Let's briefly touch on the play-in, because things are tight. Right now, Philadelphia, Orlando, Miami, and Charlotte are all hovering around the 7-10 range. Philly recently got a big win with Embiid, Maxey, and Paul George all healthy and played together. They beat Charlotte on the road. When Philly is all 3 of those guys on the floor, they're a legitimate threat to make noise out of the play-in. If they get in as a 7 or 8 seed and draw Boston, that's actually a compelling series. If they draw Detroit, assuming Cunningham is back, it's a little bit tougher. My plain prediction for the East is Philly beats Orlando in the 7 and 8 game to get the 7 seed. Miami beats Charlotte in the 9 and 10 game, and then beats the Magic to claim the 8 seed. So first round East play-in results, 76ers as the 7 seed, and Heat as the 8 seed. Moving on to the Western Conference, let's start with the obvious. OKC is the defending champion, they have the best record in the league, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is coming off arguably the best individual season in Thunder history. This year, SGA is averaging 31.4 points, 6.6 assists, 4.4 rebounds, and 1.4 steals per game on 55.3% from the field, and 38% from 3. He recently broke Wilt Chamberlain's all-time record for consecutive 20-point games. which stood for over 50 years. The man is doing things that have never been done before. Thunder went 58-16 in the regular season, which is a lead by any standard. They are deep, they have Chet Holmgren, who made his first All-Star appearance this year, and they are experienced in playoff basketball after winning it all just last summer. They are the co-favorites to win the championship along with San Antonio. In the first round, they draw the 8-seed play-in winner, which on paper is the easiest possible path. I don't expect OKC to have much trouble here. Thunder in 5. Next, the San Antonio Spurs. This is the most fascinating team in basketball right now. Victor Wembanyama is 22 years old and putting up 24.2 points, 11.2 rebounds, and 3.0 assists, and a league-leading 3.1 blocks per game on 50% from the field. He leads the NBA in total blocks, 180 on the season, and has been the central reason San Antonio has gone 24-2 since the start of February. That is a historic run. The Spurs also aren't a one-man show. De'Aaron Fox is averaging over 6 assists per game with only 2.3 turnovers, one of the better assist-to-turnover ratios in the league. Stephon Castle, last year's Rookie of the Year, has taken a step forward this season at 16.6 points per game on efficient shooting splits. And they have 2 more first-year players in Dylan Harper and Carter Bryant, who have earned rotation roles. This is a young, talented, well-built roster around a once-in-a-generation player. The MVP race between Wemby and SGA is legitimately one of the closest in recent memory. Wembanyama actually overtook Gilgeous-Alexander at the top of NBA.com's latest MVP ladder, though SGA still holds better odds on most betting markets. Both have legitimate cases. Wemby is the better defender by a wide margin, and his statistical profile is almost impossible to replicate. SGA is the more consistent offensive engine, and the Thunder have the better record. For the first round, San Antonio should handle their play-in opponent comfortably. Spurs in 4 or 5. The Lakers are the 3 seed at 48-26, facing Houston at 44-29. This is a matchup I have significant concerns about for the Rockets. The Rockets have had a legitimate season, but recently they've been falling apart. They're young, they defend hard, and they've been one of the more physical teams in the West all year. That might not be enough to beat the Lakers. The Lakers have LeBron James, who continues to do what LeBron does. This will be his 19th postseason appearance in 23 years. That is absurd. But there's a reason the Lakers are the 3 seed and not higher. They've had stretches this season where their offense has gone flat, particularly when shot creation outside of LeBron and Luka isn't flowing. I think LA gets through this one, but it could take 6 games. Lakers in 6. The Denver Nuggets and the Minnesota Timberwolves is the best first-round matchup in the West, and it's not close. Denver and Minnesota know each other well. These are 2 teams that have met in the postseason in recent years. Both have star power, and both have something to prove. Nikola Jokic is Nikola Jokic, the most complete offensive player on the planet, and one of the best players in NBA history. Minnesota has Anthony Edwards, and is built around him with a legitimate supporting cast. I'm going to take Denver in this one, but it will go to 7 games. Jokic makes the Nuggets impossible to scheme against for a full series. Minnesota will have their moments. Edwards can erupt for 40 on any given night, but when Jokic is in the zone for 7 games, he's a problem nobody has consistently solved. Denver in 7. On the West side, the projected play-in field is Phoenix and the Clippers as 7 and 8, with Portland and Golden State in the 9 and 10 spots. The Warriors are under 500 at 36 and 38, so they're barely hanging on. Phoenix has had a decent year, as Devin Booker has kept them relevant, but my prediction is that the Clippers beat Phoenix in the 7 and 8 game, and Golden State beats Portland in the 9 and 10 game, and then beat Phoenix in the final game to sneak in as the 8 seed. Warriors fans have been down this road before, and Steph Curry's ability to flip the switch in meaningful games is hard to ignore. So, Clippers as 7 and Warriors as 8. Okay, so now let me quickly walk through how I see the bracket shaking out past the first round. In the East, I have Detroit beating Boston in a tight conference semifinal, 6 or 7 games. If Cunningham is healthy, I trust the Pistons' defense to slow Boston down enough to get through. In the other bracket, I like New York to beat Cleveland in 6. For the Eastern Conference Finals, I'm going to go with Detroit over New York. The Pistons have the better defense, and I think Cunningham is a better playoff engine than any individual player New York puts on the floor. Pistons reach the NBA Finals. In the West, I have OKC over the Lakers in 5 in the second round. No real drama there. The Spurs over Denver in a genuine heavyweight fight. I'll say Spurs in 7 because Wembanyama's rim protection alone changes everything when you're trying to run Jokic pick and rolls repeatedly. That one will be a chess match. For the Western Conference Finals, I'm going with San Antonio over OKC in 7. This is the one I've been thinking about the longest, and here's my logic. Wembanyama is a fundamentally different defensive problem than anything OKC has faced before. SGA is incredible, but even he has to work for everything he gets against that length. The Spurs have been the hotter team. They have a deep and versatile roster, and a 23-year-old Wembanyama in the conference finals is a terrifying thought for any opponent. I think San Antonio gets there. This would be a great NBA Finals. Detroit versus San Antonio. A historically defensive Pistons team led by a healthy Cade Cunningham against a transcendent Wembanyama anchoring a young, hungry Spurs squad, with Fox and Castle around it. I'll take San Antonio in 6. Wembanyama's era is beginning, and I think this is the year it crystallizes on the biggest stage. The biggest wildcards heading into the playoffs are Cunningham's health and whether OKC can get the 1 seed. Because if the Thunder and Spurs are on collision course in the conference finals, home court in Game 7 could matter a lot. The East is more open than it's been in a few years. The West has 2 legitimate title contenders at the top that are clearly better than everyone else. And the play-in will deliver at least one interesting story. Whether that's a young Phoenix team making a run, or a Warrior squad sneaking in on fumes and experience. That's it for today's episode of R&D Small Ball. I'll be back next week for one final regular season check-in before the play-in tips off on April 14th. Until then, take it easy.